At least 19 people, including 9 children, were killed in a fire in a Bronx apartment building on Sunday morning, in what officials described as one of the city's worst fires in recent memory. Mayor Eric Adams said it was likely caused by a malfunctioning space heater. The fire started just before 11 a.m. in a duplex apartment on the second and third floors of the building, on East 181st Street, according to the fire department. Firefighters arrived within 3 minutes and encountered smoke that extended the entire height of the 19-story building, said the Fire Commissioner, Daniel Nigro. He added that the smoke conditions in this building were unprecedented, and that victims had suffered from severe smoke inhalation. Crews entering the building found victims on every floor and were taking them out in cardiac and respiratory arrest, he said. Fire officials said the number of fatalities is likely to climb. The numbers are horrific, Mr. Adams said at a news conference on Sunday afternoon outside the apartment building, adding, "This is going to be one of the worst fires that we have witnessed during modern times." More than 60 were injured, and those with life-threatening injuries were taken to 5 Bronx hospitals. Roughly 200 firefighters battled the blaze, officials said. Commissioner Nigro said the fire started in a bedroom on the 3rd floor where a space heater was being used. Once the fire spread in that apartment, individuals ran out and left the door open, which helped fuel the fire and allowed the smoke to spread. "We've spread the word, close the door to keep a fire contained," he said. The fire only spread in the apartment where it started and in the hallway, but the smoke made its way through the whole building. The 120-unit building, at 333 East 181st Street near Tybalt Avenue, was built in 1972, according to city records. About 25 windows facing Webster Avenue were blown out. Sheets hung from some of the windows, billowing in the wind. Kelly McGee, a spokeswoman for the property owners, said that the fire alarm system was working and that there were no known problems with the smoke alarms. Commissioner Nigro said one of the first calls about the fire came from a neighbor who heard the smoke alarms going off. Some firefighters ran out of oxygen but kept up the effort to rescue people. "It certainly is traumatizing when we can't save lives," the commissioner said. The City Department of Buildings said in a statement that a preliminary investigation determined the building remained stable and that displaced residents were offered relocation assistance by the American Red Cross. Governor Kathy Hochul and Senator Chuck Schumer joined Mayor Adams at the news conference in what they called a show of unity among city, state and federal governments. "We are indeed a city in shock," Governor Hochul said. "We will not forget you. We will not abandon you." Officials said the fire called to mind the fire at the Happy Land nightclub in 1990 in the Bronx, which killed 87 people. The club, which operated illegally, had no sprinklers, and several exits were blocked off with roll-down security shutters. That fire was set deliberately by Julio Gonzalez, who had gotten into an argument with his girlfriend who worked as a ticket taker and coat checker at the club. A bouncer had kicked Mr. Gonzalez out of the club. He returned with $1 worth of gasoline, poured it across the club's only entrance, and ignited it. The deadliest fire in the city's history was in 1911, at the Triangle Shirtwaist Company factory in Lower Manhattan, where 146 people died. All but 23 were young women. The fire helped touch off demands for improved safety conditions in factories. Wesley Patterson was in the bathroom just before 11 a.m. on Sunday when his girlfriend knocked on the door to say that she saw flames coming out of another unit. "It took only moments for the apartment to fill with smoke," said Mr. Patterson, who has lived in the building for 20 years. "We were just trying to breathe," Mr. Patterson, 28, said. He rushed with his girlfriend and her brother, who lives with the couple, to a back window. He tried to open it but the frame was so hot that he burned his hands. When he got the window open, he started screaming to firefighters who were helping a family in apartment 3M. "The firefighters couldn't get to them just yet," he said. Mr. Patterson said he had to keep opening and shutting the window to keep smoke from pouring in as he called for help. "I was yelling, 'Please help me. Please come get us,'" he said. The family tried to open the door, but the apartment flooded with even more smoke. "I was thinking about my son, and I was wondering if I was ever going to see him again," Mr. Patterson said. It was around 11:20 a.m. that Mr. Patterson said he and his family were pulled out of the window by firefighters. "I'm glad we made it out safe, but I still can't believe it happened," he said. Dana Nicole Campbell, 47, was at a nearby park, working as a groundskeeper for the city, when one of her 4 teenage children called to say that smoke was coming into their apartment on the 3rd floor. Ms. Campbell said she told them to put damp towels by the foot of the door to prevent more smoke from entering the apartment, and to barricade themselves inside the apartment. Then she raced to the building and got there in time to see her children jump out of a 3rd-floor window. They landed on a mattress and garbage bags that people had put there as a makeshift landing pad. Later, Ms. Campbell said she was grateful her children were unharmed. "You can be here tomorrow with broken legs," she said. "You can't be here tomorrow with smoke inhalation." Firefighters helped Cristal Diaz escape with her 2 aunts, aged 49 and 65, and 3 cousins from their smoke-filled apartment on the 15th floor. Ms. Diaz, who moved from the Dominican Republic 2 years ago, took only her phone and identification with her when she left. "We don't know what to do right now, and tomorrow I'm supposed to work," said Ms. Diaz, who works as a cashier. The family is currently staying with friends. Ms. Diaz said she was drinking coffee, as she does every morning, when the disaster struck. "I thought, is this going to be the last time I enjoy coffee with my family?" Ms. Diaz, 27, recalled, still in shock. Members of the Wague family stood on the corner of Talbot Avenue and Fulton Street, huddled together, some under a blanket, after escaping their 3rd-floor apartment. Mamadou Wague was awakened by one of his children. "I get up, and there's smoke in the kids' rooms," Mr. Wague, 47, said. As the family rushed out of the apartment, one of Mr. Wague's children cried that their sister, Nafisha, 8, was missing. Mr. Wague sprinted to her room and found her sitting on her bed, screaming, he said. Mr. Wague grabbed her and ran out. Ahus Balima, 20, lived on the 9th floor of the building, along with his 3 younger sisters and parents. He and his family had been asleep on Sunday morning when he was awakened by the sound of someone screaming for help. Mr. Balima went to wake up his family, and they rushed downstairs, only to be told by firefighters on the 6th floor that they couldn't go down any further because it was too dangerous. After eventually being rescued by firefighters, one of his sisters was taken to a hospital, and she was still in critical condition on Sunday night. By 3:30 p.m., the fire was under control, and a faint smell of smoke lingered in the air. Several residents stood nearby. Some wore sneakers, others had winter coats, and a few had blankets wrapped around their shoulders. A few people huddled under nearby scaffolding to escape the biting wind. Several held their phones close to their faces to assure concerned family members that they were alive. A malfunctioning space heater caused the fire in a Bronx apartment Sunday, and an open door to the apartment allowed thick, black smoke to quickly fill the high-rise building, Fire Department Commissioner Daniel Nigro said. The blaze started just before 11 a.m. in a duplex apartment on the 2nd and 3rd floors of the building, on East 181st Street, according to the fire department. At a news conference on Sunday, Mayor Eric Adams and Mr. Nigro said that the fire was caused by an electric space heater that malfunctioned, but they didn't give additional details. The commissioner said he believed the heat was working in the building and that the heater was being used to supplement the heat. "We know that people died," Mr. Kaba said. "We don't know who they are." Salim Dramé, the president of the Gambian Youth Organization, said that the non-profit's center was blocks away from the apartment building and had opened to collect donations and provide emotional support to the community. He said that contributions, both in person and to an online fundraiser, just started flooding in. "This is how our community is, we love this community," said Mr. Dramé, 26. "Every time anybody is in trouble, we show up for each other."